everybody, this is Karen
Hi, I'm Mae.
and we are from Boomers to Gen Z. Okay, so I understand you have a question for me today.
Yes, Karen. So I have a little boy,
Oh,
human boy, not a
human
puppy.
boy, not the Pinocchio boy.
No,
Okay,
human boy. He's 7 years old,
okay.
and I don't know. Like I feel like he's emotionally intelligent, maybe, but like he just doesn't know how to. He doesn't know what a boundary is.
Okay.
In a sense where like I could be working, I could be in the middle of a full-fledged meeting,
Okay.
but if there's something wrong with, like, let's say his game or his TV, he thinks that he has all the right to come and talk to me about it because it's as equally important as what I might be doing at that point in time.
Okay.
And if he doesn't get my attention, he then cries and he throws a tantrum about it. And then after about 2 hours, once my meeting is done, suddenly he understands. He's like, "Oh, Mama, what I did earlier, I'm so sorry about that." And it's just so frustrating for me because obviously I'm trying to build my career as well. And I work with people who are not my age. I work with people who are older than me.
Okay.
And I don't want it to seem like it's difficult to work with me because I have someone to bag in. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
like, in those type of situations, and he does feel really bad, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, how would you handle...
Well, okay, he is 7 years old. All right.
But my meeting is more important than his game time.
True. But to him, his game is important.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So, the best advice I could give any young parent is, you can't expect a 7-year-old boy to sit quietly and do exactly what you want him to do for 2-3 hours. That's not possible. So it's about managing that kind of expectation, right? So maybe you can. So when my kids were young, so we were based on if they were 6 years old, then I say okay, maybe the attention they can keep quiet for half an hour, and then I allow them to go crazy a little bit, so and then we kept expanding that time. So the time became a longer when they can be on their own.
Okay.
And then but you need to make it fun for them to be on their own. So teaching them to play on their own is a good thing. But also make sure that you have everything ready for them that they can entertain themselves, so that there's no need for that interruption. And so, for example, my husband and I used to go to sometimes nicer restaurants and where children are frowned upon because and I had my 2 and 4-year-old, but what I'll do is I always make sure that they are well fed, everything is all ready to go, and make sure that they had their little coloring books or puzzles and things like that. And then I kind of explain, okay, we're gonna have dinner, but you're gonna play, and you can have, if you behave yourself, you can have a little cake or something like that. But so they are good, but at the same time, we don't push our luck and have a 3-hour dinner.
Yeah.
We make sure that it's within an hour, so that it's a fair, so that they walk away feeling that they are rewarded. They shouldn't feel like, oh boy, I didn't do my due, therefore I'm a naughty girl, and therefore that kind of feeling. So they should feel that they are rewarded and say, oh, mommy said I was very good, and therefore I'm going to be better the next round, right?
Yeah.
So something like that, where you can say, okay, you tell your son, okay, I've got to work, but put a little timer and say, if you stay quiet for, let's say, 45 minutes, we'll do something together for the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
And I think that can work, and and then you start pushing that 45 to maybe an hour next time, and then slowly build that up. But setting boundaries is very crucial. I know now that a lot of modern parents would never agree to my way of parenting, because I was very strict about creating a very strict schedule, strict routine, because I believe children needs structure. I believe children need structure, they need clear boundaries, and I also think that children are very, very smart, and that you should clearly tell them, hey, if you want mommy to buy you certain things, I have to work,
Mm.
and that's where money comes from. And therefore, if you're going to interrupt me, I'm not going to have work, and therefore I'm not going to be able to buy you your
Yeah.
favorite ice cream or whatever it is. And that slowly they will start to understand. And as they get older, they may even be helping and supporting you. You'll be
So that
surprised.
they can get more ice cream.
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, and when you you have two daughters.
Yes.
Would you say that like the parenting style really differs on the child, or would you say?
Oh yeah, you got to. You, only a parent will know their child well. Some children will take who are more generally a little bit more obedient or fearful or timid, for instance. Then you have to parent differently. Then you have some which is a bit more adventurous and maybe more rebellious, and they probably don't want to listen to you, or you know that they're not going to listen to you. Sometimes it's worth having a good friend that you can share that with, that your child may actually listen to.
Okay.
So it's like I can tell my parent the same thing, but they will never listen to me.
Okay.
But if it came from my husband, they're fine.
I
They will
understand
accept.
what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So, especially when when your son goes through teenage years, I
I'm
tell
not
you
looking
that
forward
that
to
is
it.
another level. You may face this, and you will have the situation where they will question you. Mommy is no longer the smart one, and you don't know anything better, and kind of thing. So it may be worthwhile to connect him with someone that you trust and has the same value as you, and say, oh, maybe you can talk to Zach because I can't reach out because he's just not listening to me. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think that like definitely like when I had Zach, I was quite young, right?
Yes.
So I really didn't know. So there's a lot of things that of course came with instinct, and then I would like talk to people and I'd take people's advice, like, and then I do know what's right and wrong. So obviously I'm not gonna starve my child. I'm gonna make sure he showers.
Well, your motherly instincts will come in, right?
Yeah, like oh yeah, you need to eat,
Yeah.
drink water, and like I just started nagging the same way that I remember being nagged. Suddenly like he falls down and I'm like, it's okay, get up, drink water. He's like, Mama, my knee hurts. Like it doesn't make sense. It makes sense. You should drink water.
That will solve everything.
So I think that like the way that I parent as well, like it's I don't know, like I don't know if it's because I'm young. So like he knows I'm young. He actually has asked me before. He's like, Mama, you know what makes you different from the other parents? And I was like, what? It's like you're like really young and you have more energy. Because I'll go pick him up from school and I'll be like, Dad, it's like home time. Like let's go. But at the same time, I'm a bit scared that then where will the respect be? Would he know like that I don't want to be that cool mom, just like fun,
Right.
just like young. And I don't know if I'm overthinking it because I feel like Zach does respect me, of course, as his mom and stuff, but I fear that, like am I not do I don't have like because I don't have that like mature like presence, like how no offense, but women in their like 40s or late 30s, there's a different presence.
It's the maturity that
Yeah.
comes with age, right?
So you feel differently around them, whereas being in not even halfway through my 20s yet.
How lucky.
I'm talking about it in a bad way, but so obviously like my presence is different, the way I dress is different, but I do be mindful of things like that. So obviously I'm not going to pull up in some jeans and a crop top and like bring that to the mall. So I am mindful of that because I think that also links to how he feels safe and his security and his stability.
Right.
So,
I think the main thing you can do is stay true to yourself, but don't try. I don't think that a mother should be a friend to the child.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. My message to my children is I'm not your friend. I am your mother, and but I will always be there whatever it may be because you know I want I want them to know that whatever they do, there's always consequence.
Yeah.
And that consequence, if they do wrong, they still have to deal with it. But even if I'm not happy with it, which they will know, but I will still be there.
Yeah.
Right? So I will always still be there and support, but may not always like the situation that they may have put themselves into. But I will still be there to help and support them because I think children needs to know that yeah, I made a mistake, but thankfully my mom or my dad was there to help me, but I'm not making that mistake anymore. That's the kind of the
They
thing.
need that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you shouldn't try, you are 24 and you had mistakes and that was a big mistake and not having the child, but
The whole situation.
the whole situation.
Of course.
But
Not advisable.
no, and you want him to understand that you do love him and that it was not out of that he is loved in the whole situation. Uh, and yes, you are young, and that you are also learning to be a better mom for him. And that maybe at some point there will be that where both of you are actually learning and leaning to each other for support.
I think that would be a good phase to get to. There's a lot of elements in my life right now that I need to sort of like work. I think that like support from other people as well. I need to be mindful about who I let into my life. I need to be mindful about the friends that because he's watching everything
Yeah,
at
they're a little
7.
sponge.
Yeah, at 7, especially not when he was younger. Like you put them in one spot, they can't move. Now it's like asking questions. I speak to a friend, and he's like, "Mama, I heard you speaking earlier about this. What happened?" I'm like, "Oh, like,
Yeah.
you heard me."
Yeah. No, they
And
do
they try to
share.
process it themselves.
Yes,
So yeah, I mean, it's just another way for me to like buckle up again, isn't it? But it's been a nice experience, I would say. Did you enjoy?
Being a mom,
Yeah,
I
most of the time.
I love being a mom, but I won't say that it's the easiest thing.
Yeah.
But I do take motherhood very seriously because for me it's having 7 rounds of IVF and having difficulty to have children. So to me they are very special um, and by nature I'm a very um, motherly, nurturing kind of person. So I would put everything on hold for them. And I'm lucky I could do that and all that. But it is about setting. I just think that being a good mom is not spoiling them with things. It's about spoiling them with your love, but not with things.
Yeah.
And it's about setting boundaries and teaching them to have respect for themselves, respect for others, and be a good human being.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I look at young parents who are very, they don't reprimand the child if they are being naughty or because I think you guys are brought up in the society where no spanking, no whatever. But my dad is like corporal buff.
Okay, yeah, that's true. So no spanking, but I think like verbally, like saying like, I'm not happy, and I think that there's a stare. I don't know if your daughters have the stare, but there's this one specific look that I give Zach, and he just starts crying. He's just like, oh no.
That's your stare.
Yeah, so he just knows that he's crossed the limit, and I don't know if it's a good thing, but Zach really doesn't want to disappoint me. So when he feels like he's disappointed me or that he's upset me, he gets really upset. So that situation, right, where he interrupted work and stuff. So when the client had left, I went and spoke to him and I said, Baba, like that was really unfair because I told you that I had a meeting and this meeting is important to me because I only see them like once a week. And Mama needs to work.
Right.
And Mama's working from home because I cannot leave you to take care of the house by yourself.
Right.
And I was like, that felt really unfair, so I'm a bit sad about that.
Right.
And he just started crying. He's like, I'm sorry I made you sad, Mama. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And the next time the client came over, he was so hesitant. He was so hesitant to disturb me. If he needed something, he just stood in front of me to like smile. And in those moments, I just feel like I go, my sweet boy, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, thank you for trying.
And he is trying, and
Yeah,
and you should reward him
Yes.
for trying.
So we
And
did.
yeah, and that's something, and that you want to keep rewarding the good things that he, instead of only reprimanding the naughty things.
Yeah.
So that he will notice that, oh, if I do more good things, my
I get
mama
more.
will take care of me.
Yeah.
Or pay attention to me more. And I think that's how.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the problem is, in Asian culture, we my growing up, when we do good things, my parents barely say anything. So it is very hard, because our growing up is a bit like, oh, it's given that you're supposed to do good things. But when you do bad things or things that they don't agree, we get berated, we get, the rotan. I don't think you guys have ever seen rotan.
I've seen it in like old shops.
Yeah. and so it's different. And for me, when I had my children growing up, the initial I was very much the rotan person, and I had to totally change that because it was just too traumatic. And then I also realized their behavior was different, which means they were able to feel a lot more and absorb a lot more emotion, and I didn't want to keep hurting them that way. So it became more like time out. To be naughty, go to your corner, and they'll cry for 10 minutes at the corner, and then before they get a hug and all that. But yes, then it's about communicating. But they need, if you say you're going to follow through a punishment, follow through the punishment. That's super important, because if you don't, they just don't take you seriously.
They start jumping on your head.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they are very smart, way smarter than you are, and they will pick up every aura, every energy that's around you. So if you do something, and like, for instance, let's say you're smoking, and then you tell him, hey, you cannot smoke, I promise you, he will say, well, you smoked the other day.
Yeah,
They
there's a
will
lot
not.
of that.
So
Well, if you followed these episodes, I guess you'll get to see us on this journey of May struggling with this 7-year-old.
well,
but I have Karen, so.
what motherhood is not a strict SOP and all that. It's not.
so different with every. Okay, so I've obviously met like other people. I don't like children. I'm just gonna put it out there. I really don't like kids. So it's kind of ironic that I have a child.
God's punishment.
So I actually, I find. So before I had a kid, I used to always tell people, oh my god, like children are so irritating, they're so self-entitled, like,
You're talking about yourself.
Maybe I was deflecting. But when I had Zach, like I must say I really like him. I do really like him, and he teaches me so much. He teaches me about my temperament. He teaches me, like, you don't know what you don't know, until you figure out that you don't know that. And the way that they want to converse with you, what's important to them, how I see people pleaser tendencies in him towards his mom. And then we've started to now shift that, so the narrative is that now, no, don't do it for me, Baba, but do it for you. Like,
you like what them too.
Yeah, like, so he did really well in his Mandarin class last week. He's like, Mama, are you proud of me? And I was like, well, how do you feel? He's like, I feel so good, Mama. And I was like, then I feel good because you feel good. So it's like shifting that narrative and like just kind of learning as I go.
Yeah.
Reading things, hearing from other moms, seeing what other moms are doing that maybe I just don't want to do.
I think you got to again be kind to yourself, and keep learning. It is a journey, and you know, when we all start, we've never been mothers before, so it's not like we have done it before and know what to do now. So it is a journey, and every child is different in terms of personality and things like that. So you got to work around them, and I think the most important is set boundaries. Uh, be Don't talk down to them. Talk to them as if they are adult. Don't goo goo gaga, because I get that very annoyed when people go goo goo gaga with the children, and because they are very smart, they know how you speak, and so don't talk down to them. I think if you explain the situation very clearly, they will understand, and that's why he was able to empathize and say, okay, I cannot keep disturbing mama when she's working. So I hope this has been fun, and it will be a long conversation if we go on and on about parenting. But I'm sure we'll rediscover this topic again when May has problem with little Zach.
For sure.
So bye, and talk to you soon. Bye.